for educational critical review and reaction is the late, great Jordan Maxwell.
When the U.S. government and the powers behind the government, what Senator in Norway called the hidden government, the secret government behind our government, the real government, they spend a lot of money paying big salaries to the best minds that we can come up with from Europe and from around the world, Japan, Europe. They pay top money to scientists to figure out how to do what they want done. Well, that costs a lot of money, but they got it. But then after they get what they want from the scientists and have developed a new product or a new technology, now they give it to Hollywood. They give it to Hollywood, and then they make movies out of it, or TV shows, and people go to watch the movies, and they're making hundreds of millions of dollars off of these movies. Well, that goes back to the pockets of the guys who own the studios, are the same guys who are doing all this stuff to start with. So they get their money back. They get their money back by showing you in a movie. So you pay money, and they paid $600 million for this technology, and they made $1,500 million.
Basic project development and project funding.
Yeah.
Well, there was a house up in Laurel Canyon. Well, I saw this in the paper a while back in the LA Times. There was this, I think it was about a 15,000 square foot house right up Laurel Canyon that just went on the market. And it was this monstrous house that was owned by some of the back guys of Hollywood for the Cold War. It was a house used to create all these propaganda films about the Cold War and all the Russian cosmonaut thing. You could Google it. It's this home, and this private person just bought it, but it was once owned by the government, and it's where they stored all these guys that was like a think tank for creating these movies.
Yeah. Wag the Dog, or what was it?
Wag the Dog. Yeah. How about the Manchurian Candidate?
Yeah, I know.
That's a little too close to home right now.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting dark stuff going on that people have no idea in the world. I mean, when I saw this stuff happening back in Connecticut, there was a movie. I mean, a book written. I don't know, that might have been made into a movie, but there's a book came out quite a few years ago. Fascinating, incredibly important book called The Devil in Connecticut. And that's where Sandy Point was, in Connecticut. Well, there's a book came out called The Devil in Connecticut, and it talked about the profound presence in Connecticut of demonic depravity, demon worship, devil worship there. It was an extraordinary book. You need to get it. Go to the library or order it, called The Devil in Connecticut. And it was a real-life story, true story about demon possession, devil worship there, and how in Connecticut was crawling with this kind of dark devil-worshipping stuff.
I think the author of The Hunger Games, the big movie about that sort of occulted, she's from that area, Sandy Point.
Yeah.
Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook. And, I don't care what anybody says, but these video games have negative...
Of course, but that's what they're supposed to do. The video games are designed... they have people who design video games. They don't just one day, like Jesus, appear out of nowhere.
To desensitize people from shooting other people.
Because they're rewarded. The thing that's scary about this is they're rewarded for shooting people. They're rewarded for shooting police officers. I mean, guys, censorship. I'm all for freedom of speech. We're prime advocates of that right here. However, there comes a fine line there when these kids are doing this.
Well, I mean, how many times have you heard that argument that free speech does not give you the right to yell fire in a theater? But you have a right to freedom of speech, and that's good, and that's important, and we should have it. But that doesn't mean that you misuse your freedom of speech to harm other people and to
condone it and be rewarded for it in magazines and movies. And, I blame Hollywood, for a lot of this, because every frickin' movie you go out and see, it's negative. It's car chases, it's shooting, it's
blowing up cars,
murdering
violence.
people. Yeah, it's violence towards women.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this society drilling down into its people?
I mean, axe murders, Texas chainsaw massacre, chopping people up.
And the news, I mean, every time you turn on the Los Angeles news, the local news, there isn't one evening that goes by where you don't see an officer involved shooting. Mm-hmm. And a car chase.
Yep.
and or some sort of violent act. And it's just, these people are put up on pedestals. They just have to draw the fine line.
Yeah, well, when I was growing up on television and radio, it would be the news of the day. And now tonight it's called Action News. Channel 7 Action News, meaning it's action. I want to see some blood. We want to see some violence, some action news.
I don't even watch it. Like ABC to me is all about crap. That's what it means.
Yeah, I mean, I always say ABC is all about the conspiracy, Yeah. And NBC is nothing but conspiracy.
Or nothing but crap.
The bottom line here is that media, and I've often wondered about that too, it's just the way my mind thinks, but the word media, that whole area we call today the Middle East, if it was controlled by a race of people called the Medes. The Medes and the Persians. The Medes were one group and the Persians were another, and they got together and they controlled that whole area of the Middle East, and it was called Media. That's what the name of that whole area under the Medes and Persians was called, Media.
Well, I call them prostitutes, because they're nothing but people for hire just spewing out whatever they're told. There's no such thing as journalism. I think that went away with, if you look like Walter Cronkite. And, but you see these people, they're just talking idiots, each one of them.
I was told, I have in my company, I'd say about 13 years ago, we had a newsman from one of the local network news came to our office, and we were talking with him about his job, and he was a very well-known Los Angeles newsman on nightly news, and he said, "I'll tell you something about the news in Los Angeles you don't know." He said, "I had to sign a contract in order to get this to be the news anchorman with one of the major network news. I had to sign a contract that said, if I say anything on the air that is not on that teleprompter, that I can be arrested and put in jail." That was the contract I had to sign, that I can be arrested and put in jail, because I had to give up my rights as an American to speak truth. I had to sign a contract which signed away my right to speak publicly in order to get the job. They have told me, we hear you make one comment, your own personal view, on anything that's not on that teleprompter, you will be arrested. Now, do you want the job or don't you? You'll be a big shot, you'll look good on television, you'll be paid a lot of money, and the first time you open your mouth and say something that you're not told to say, you're going to jail.
Well, look at who owns Reuters. I mean, Reuters, it was originally owned by the Rothschilds, and then it was sold to the Thomson Corporation out of Canada. Look at it, it's a $13 billion company back in 2011. They control a good portion of the news. Ironically, it was sold to the Thomson Group, but prior to that, it was owned by the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds controlled all the banking, hence the banking controls all the media. Are you really getting facts, or are you getting fiction?
It's just business here. Don't take this personal. It's just business.
Well, Thomson Group, they're no slouches.
Oh, no.
They're huge.
Huge company.
Yep. Huge company.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like the mafia says, this is nothing personal. We're just talking business here. I mean, somebody's going to screw over you because the powers that be on this planet know the human race is so damn stupid that they're going to get taken anyway. So since they're going to get taken anyway, well, we might as well get organized and do it ourselves. So, and the people love it. That's the horrible part about this, is that the people, generally speaking, in this world, look at one thing I've learned in the past 53 years of speaking to the public and speaking on these subjects. 53 years I've been doing this. I have learned certain things which are provable. And that is that people, and God knows I've said this before, you've heard it on the same program, people will always support what they want to hear. They will not support what they don't want to hear. A classic example is if you love country western music, you're not going to pay $50 for an acid rock concert. If you love the big band era with the Glenn Millers, etc., you're not going to pay money to have teenage concerts or rock and roll. And the same goes for what you eat and what you wear and what you live. If you love eating at a particular restaurant, you're not going to pay a lot of money to go to one you don't like. People will always support what they want to eat, not what they don't want to eat. They will support and pay money to wear what they want to wear, not what they don't want to wear. So it's very simple. People will pay money and support what they want. They will not support what they don't want. Okay, if that is the case, the one thing that history has taught us, if nothing else, in the past 6,000 years is that people, generally speaking, will not support and do not want to hear the truth. That's the one thing you can bet that the people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear the real truth. Why? Because they have been fed, it's called cognitive dissonance. The people have been ignorant, kept ignorant, taught ignorance, so that today, if you are telling people the real truth, they will call the cops on you. They will call the government on you because there must be something wrong with you. You're talking crap they've never heard before. You're telling them things that they have never heard before, which is obviously a bunch of bull because they've never been told.
What percentage of the population is like that? Because obviously there's a few people that...
No, there's obviously a few people who are still able, beyond any imagination, some people are still able to think on their own, think for themselves. Very, very few. They are in a minority. And the people who are actually thinking for themselves and intelligent enough to know what I'm talking about, they already know what I'm saying is true. Because a lot of people tell me, I am totally in your corner. I totally agree with everything you say, but I'm being treated like an outsider. I can't talk to my family. I got fired from my job because I asked a question, and so I totally understand what you're saying, but I can't talk to anybody. I hear this from all kinds of people. So I know that if you happen by chance to still have your own mind, and your brain hasn't been washed completely, then you better keep your mouth shut. Because you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose your friends, you're going to lose your marriage, you're going to lose you're going to lose everything. You need to keep your mouth shut and go along to get along. Don't ask any questions. And one thing you don't want to do in this country is do not act like you've got an education. Because if you do, you're going to be fired. You're going to lose your job. You're going to cause problems in your home, your marriage. You need to learn how to be in compliance. Be brainless, stupid, and watch your television, watch your basketball and football, and drink your beer and have a good time and eat the pizza, but don't go out asking any damn questions. Don't question the government. Don't question the mafia. Do not question organized crime because you can get hurt that way. In America, you keep your mouth shut. You play dumb, and everything's going to be cool. You go out to the basketball game, you can go out to the football and watch all the movie stars at the ball game, and you can watch the president throwing out the first ball at the big football game, and you can have a good time, and you drink your beer and have a good time at the game, but keep your mouth shut. Period. Because you open your mouth in this country and you're going to jail. And that's America today. You better not know anything. You better act plain and simple. You better act like everybody else. Don't stand out as someone who's intelligent, who's wise and perceptive and intelligent, who has their own mind and speaks their own thoughts and talks about freedom and liberty and justice. You better keep your mouth shut. Go into jail. That's a warning. I mean, little Ari Fleshman, what was his name?
Ari Fletcher.
Ari Fletcher. Understand this. Ari Fletcher was the what were they called?
Well, he was George Bush's spokesperson.
Yeah, the spokesman for the president. Fletcher, Jewish. You would think if there's anybody on this earth that would understand totalitarian, fascism, Nazism, evil on the earth would be the Jew. All the crap that they've gone through, you would think the Jews would spot evil quickly. He came out and said publicly, Americans, you better watch what you say. You better watch your mouth. You better watch what you say in this country. And I'm thinking, this is a Jewish guy, and he's telling his fellow Americans to watch their mouth, watch what you're saying. That's what that's what the Nazis did. The SS told the Jews, you better watch your mouth. If you're speaking un-German thoughts here in Berlin, and the Führer hears about it, you better watch your mouth.
I mean, look at they regulated the people right out of Germany back then. For instance, there's articles where shop owners had a restaurant, and they had a square table. Well, they came in and said, you know what, you can't have square tables. You have to have round tables. Someone could bump their leg. And they squeeze these people right out of business.
That's right. So Ari Fleischer, Jewish boy, saying to Americans who fought and died on the field of battle to free the Jews in Germany, turns right around and gets a nice, cushy job with the President of the United States.
What's the old saying? If you're, if you're working for the king, you're getting some shillings from the king, so don't speak against the king.
That's right. As far as I'm concerned, it's very scary telling people the truth.
Well, they can't handle the truth. And the scary thing right now, I mean, you look at the amount of money right now that Homeland Security gets, and this Chertoff, he was one of the first Homeland Security directors. That little prick, he's selling these X-ray machines in the airports. It's outrageous. He's now making hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for this company, selling these human microwaves that you've got to walk through. And if you Google it, MIT human body scanners, and just see what it says. And it talks about how it destroys your DNA.
Wait. Isn't that a conflict of interest?
No.
Homeland Security.
No.
He's no longer the Homeland Security director.
That's right.
He took his position, went for the private sector. Now he sells each airport, in the United States, these, multi-million-dollar machines. Where in Europe, by the way, the European community just banned them, saying that they, one, are ineffective, two, they're potentially causing cancer risk for humans that walk through them. Now, this is the European community, okay, that's just as concerned about security matters as we are. Yet this guy Chertoff, who used to work for the government, is now selling these big microwaves. Beyond conflict of interest.
Yeah, but
it's like the foxes watching the hen house.
Yep.
And if you question
America.
them, have you? By the way, have any of you guys gone through an airport recently?
No.
Oh,
I haven't went through one of those things.
Yeah, first of all, you can opt out. You're entitled to opt out.
I wouldn't mind a little feel here and there.
The problem is with the feel. They don't give you Hilga, they give you Bruce. And Bruce looks like this beyond twisted individual. And if you question him, they go up and they grab your balls worse than your doctor. I mean, it's unbelievable. Last time I went through, it was unbelievable. They took my computer and ran it through the X-ray 3 or 4 times, and I just kind of kept my mouth shut. And I said, no, I'm not opting out. I'm not going through this body scanner. They said, why not? I said, because if you Google it, and MIT, which I considered a pretty good university here in the United States, their top scientists say that it affects my DNA. So you know what? Pat me down. So they take you over, and they stand you in this little booth like you're some alien.
Yeah.
And then they make you, what time is your flight? And they make you stand there for 15, 20 minutes. And then they put on the rubber gloves, and they pat you down. And listen, I'm just trying to, get from point A to point B. But it's beyond, invasive.
I like what one of those comedians said. If you're gay and you don't have a date for Saturday night, just go to the airport.
Go to the airport. Yeah,
yeah.
It's true. Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
So
it's just sad that, what's really sad about this, and it's talking about questioning authority and really just going out and speaking, that people are just, the sheeple, as I call them, are afraid to write to their senators. They're afraid to write to their congressmen about this invasive treatment that each citizen is getting. And they're, from what I understand, they're now at train stations and bus stations, and they're going after these people that obviously, look like they cannot rub 2 nickels together, and they're picking on them, and they're, it's beyond what happened to America.
That's right.
I mean, we've just signed it away to big corporations.
Yep.
Your ex-politicians that are making millions and millions of dollars off of security.
Well, I see the whole thing. I'm very philosophical about what I do. The one thing that I guess you could attribute to my work that I have been able to do is pattern recognition. I have always been able to see patterns in things that other people don't see. It's like codes, and I can see codes very quickly. I can see pattern recognition. And I'm telling you, there's a definite pattern here that connects directly to Washington, D.C., is connected directly to the Roman Empire. America is the new Roman Empire. And like the Roman Empire, it is now in decline. The Rome fell in the year, 5th century, 425, something like that. Officially was when Rome officially was declared null and void. There was no empire left. And so that's where we are today. We're right around 425 A.D. with the Roman Empire's full and total collapse. So the American Republic has fully and totally collapsed. There is no longer an America as such. We are now like the Roman Empire. Now let me explain why I'm saying that. Is because what we call Washington, D.C., that little area of the country called Washington, D.C., originally back in 1770s, before America was founded, that area was called Rome, R-O-M-E, Rome. That little area today we call Washington, D.C., was originally called Rome. It was owned by a Jesuit Catholic family. And that was actually brought out in the movie, was National Treasure 1 and National Treasure 2.
Yeah, with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage's movie, National Treasure 1, brought out how it was actually called Rome. Now, if you go to the Time magazine and Life magazine, I still have the Life magazine, a big article in Life magazine back in the 50s, did a whole article on the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., and it talked about the man who designed the Capitol building was from Europe, and he designed the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. to be exactly the replica of the Vatican, the Capitol on the Vatican, the dome.
The Domus, which is
the Domus, right.
significant with a lot of architecture. It actually went back to
Rome.
Well, Rome and pre-Rome, it goes back to your Sumerians.
That's right. The Domus. That's right.
Yeah, what I find kind of fascinating is we'll go back into Rome. Well, if you cross over the river there, you've got Vatican City, where it is a square. You've got London Square, which is separate from the city of London.
Tiananmen Square,
Tiananmen Square, and you also have D.C., which is the 10 square mile.
10 Mile Square.
Yep.
I mean, every town, any town in a little city has a town square. Why? Because if you get out of line, they're going to feed you 3 square meals. And,
well, how about the square and the significance with Freemasonry?
Well, I'm just saying that the square is very important. Very important symbol, the square. That's why you have Tiananmen Square, New York Square, Madison Square Garden. Squares are very important. And that's why you're advised as a child to learn how to play fair and square. Or you're going to go to jail, sit in a square cell where they're going to feed you 3 square meals. So you need to play fair and square. So once you understand what all the symbol means, where does it come from? Why do you have to go to jail? You go to jail because you're a battery. Your body is a biological electrical unit. It's a battery. That's why you have to have a lot of water, because you're a battery.
And you go to a cell to recharge your battery.
So that's exactly right. So if you can, when you go into court, you are a maritime admiralty product because you came out of your mother's water. So you are a maritime admiralty product. You're a biological battery. And so if you can't find someone to bail you out, you need to pay bail. But if you can't get bailed out, that's what you do. If a boat's taking on water, you get a bucket and bail out the water. Well, if they can't bail you out, then you're in hot water. They're going to take your biological body, which is a battery, and put you in a cell. That's what we call the batteries. They're a cell. And so once you realize and understand how the world works, it's all working perfectly. What you think is craziness and lunacy and stupidity around the world with violence and wars and bloodshed and all this crap going on with the terrorism, it's all being worked out perfectly to a well-laid plan that's been known for many, many years. And the people have no idea in the world how all of this stuff really works. It's really very simple once you understand how corporate thinking works. You've got to create business.
It's all about commerce.
It's all about commerce. Did you know that all criminality, all crime, any good professional attorney or lawyer in this country who's worth their salt and who's intellectually honest to tell you the truth, will tell you that the law says in America, all crime is in commerce. Everything you do in your life is a commercial venture, everything. Just walking to the store was part of business. It's called the business of living. All crime, any crime you commit is in commerce. So you've got to pay your dues. You've got to pay. So they say if you can't pay, then don't play. So if you're going to create a crime, that's in commerce. It's business. It's bad business, and you're going to have to pay your debt to society. Why? It's because every crime, there's a book that judges are given, a very thick book, and I've seen it one time. I wish I could have got a hold of it. It has every crime that can be committed, period. Have all the hundreds of different divisions of all kinds of criminality, and every single crime that is possible to commit, that they've got any kind of legal structure on the crime at all. Every crime has a financial responsibility.
Well, that's where the bail's set.
That's exactly right.
For instance, if you commit murder, you're going to get your bail is going to be set at X. If you rob a CD,
it's a particular bail. Right.
DUI, Z. And
it's because all crime is in commerce.
Everything.
All crime is considered business. It's just business.
Well,
it's
that's
nothing personal.
Where the Universal Commercial Code falls into place.
Precisely. The Uniform Commercial Code, Universal Commercial Code, all crime is a business. And then, like any other business, if you have that book that judges have, the guy is coming before the judge, he's been accused of such and such crime, you look it up in the book. And see, okay, that crime is worth $2.5 million. Now, if he's got $2.5 million, I don't care if he shot the guy, whatever, it doesn't matter what he did. If you can pay for it, bring your money with you and pay for it right now, and you walk. You take a walk. But if you can't pay for it, then they're going to have to take your body, which is a biological battery, and put it in a cell.
Hasta la vista, baby. You're in jail.
That's it. And so once you understand how commerce works, look up the word in a law dictionary. Look up the word commerce, and Congress. I've said this before, but I'm saying it again. The word Congress. Americans run around all day long talking about, well, the Congress did this, the Congress said that. Do you know what the word Congress means?
Sex.
Yes. S-E-X, sex.
I'm learning.
Sex is in the dictionary, law dictionary, look up the word commerce. It will tell you commerce is sex.
And
period.
Congress.
And Congress
is sex.
Is sex.
Well, that significance with the congressman fucking the American people.
Yeah, but don't you're taking this personal.
Oh, it's not personal. It's just
business. But this is.
He's a little bitter right now.
Not at all.
But look at this it's true that the word Congress and commerce means sex in a law dictionary. Go look it up. So therefore, when people say, well, the Congress is screwing us, of course, that's what the word means. Go read it. And so that's why when you're getting married, you need to understand this. The way maritime admiralty or British maritime admiralty commercial law works, and that's what we're working on as the British Empire. America's merely one nation under the British Empire. And therefore, the very word British, there's a world of difference between English and British. English is a bloodline, but British means something totally different. British comes from a Hebrew word berith, B-R-E-T-H, berith. Berith in Hebrew is a contract, a covenant or a contract. And the word in Hebrew for a man or men is the same, singular or plural. In Hebrew, the word man or men is ish, I-S-H, or ishi, ish. Ish is man. Therefore, you take the commerce, you take the word berith, which is a contract or a covenant, men of the covenant. So berith and ish is the word brith, and ish is, we call it British. And so British simply means man of the contract, or the contract man. That's why today, anything you're going to do in America, you need to sign a contract. Why? Because we're under British Maritime Admiralty law, the law of the British. Brit is a contract and ish is man. The British is the man of the contract, or men who demand a contract. So that's why, as I said to you before, no matter how devious and evil the laws are that throw people into jail, take old ladies' homes from them, throw innocent people into prisons, take their homes, rip people off, they have a right to do that. You need to understand and be a good citizen. And by being a good citizen, it means that you have to understand how the law works, how the government works, because they're not on the face of it, the law is not evil and bad. It is what it is.
Well, we need it. It's been abused. I mean, if you look at the original Declaration of Independence.
Oh, well, that's different. Now we're talking about a whole different subject now. Because
that's a great document.
Well, it's the most important document ever signed in the history of the human race.
Well, it's the cornerstone to our whole society.
Absolutely.
Another cornerstone.
However, the lawmakers and elected officials, and the problem is today, our elected officials are controlled by big corporations.
All right, thanks for listening, and join us next time.